Cheers to my man Dwayne. Thank you for the cup of coffee. Let's jump into the vlog, why don't we? Welcome guys back to the Core TCG vlog. I know last week I said I wasn't probably going to make it to it, but I found time and was able to make it. We had 5 rounds, and your boy here took Plunder Patrol and got whacked with Plunder Patrol. Hopefully everyone's doing good. Remember guys, if you enjoyed this video, give this video a like and a subscribe at the very end. Please, by all means guys, if you always want to be put at the beginning of the video like I did with the coffee, down below and go to the coffee link and buy me a coffee. And all that coffee, all sort of the donations for that coffee go to the new setup that I'm getting to bring you guys better quality videos and live stream a little bit more. And yeah, so also guys, hit that join button down below if you guys want to join the crusade. It'll be an awesome, really good experience. So straight guys, like wearing Jack today, we had a blizzard. Nope. Alright guys, yeah, so there's our blizzard in the middle of October right before Halloween. So anyway guys, I highly want to let you guys know that I ended up going 2-3 this tournament, and I super support remote duels. Core TCG is a very high, like, competitive locals. So by all means, if you go there, expect to face Dragon Link, expect to face Infernobles, expect to face Dragon Link, Dragon Link, Dragon Link, but it's still a good time. The guys there are super nice. There's some really friendly guys. So I have a list of my rounds and then like round by round how everything happened. So yeah, like I said guys, like I highly recommend if you live in a place where your locals is still closed down because of the pandemic, or maybe you live in the middle of nowhere and your locals is like mine, which is like an hour and a half away, and you can't afford to or find the time to make it all the way to your locals. So remote dueling is really fun. I highly recommend it. There are tons of locals out there that are doing it. I actually hope they continue this even after the pandemic goes away. But round 1 was Machina Trains. I ended up 2-0ing that. The guy actually ended up making the unaffected rank 10, and something about plunders that a lot of people don't know, and this is why plunders struggle against like Dragoon, is we don't really have an out for big monsters unless they can't be targeted or they're unaffected. And that's what the big train did. Coincidentally, he ended up linking it off, or not linking it, smacking Libe on top of it, and Libe can be affected. So my ship called Morik just shot a cannonball, banished it. There we go. Moving on, I ended up playing zombies the next round. It was a 1-2. I won game 1. I completely just swamped him. Also, I'd like to take note that like the quality of players at these events or at this locals is really nice, guys. Like the atmosphere is really good. The round 1 guy was super. He was awesome to play against. Like that was like a fun game. You know, like we just had a lot of fun together. So huge shout out to, I forget your name, my man. I'm sorry, but huge shout out to him. But round 2 was zombies, and this guy was awesome too. I took game 1 because again, like I effect veilered his solitaire and just blew him out of the water. Game 2, I lost to Super Poly. I mean, if you guys don't know, I hate Super Poly. I think Super Poly should not exist at all. That card is like, it would be fair if you could respond, but you can't respond. Card needs to go, in my opinion. A little bit of salt, I'll be honest there. But moving on, game 2, well, like I said, game 2 Super Poly. Game 3, I had a horrible misplay. I ended up like having the ability to make a Toad and a Blackbeard, but because I misplayed and like, even though it is remote duels, like, you know, like you stay honest to your word, you don't try to take back anything. And the guy was super nice. There was like a misplay where I activated Blackbeard, tagged into Brawn, and then attacked and forgot to draw off Blackbeard. And he's like, you can't, I'll let you take this one thing back. But I actually think he didn't have an option because I think that entire effect is one effect. So I had to draw before I at the resolution. So, but anyway, he, you know, good swordsmanship, good playership, you know. So then I end up misplaying. I could have made Toad plus Blackbeard, which would have been enough. He even said at the end, he's like, Toad and Blackbeard would have been enough, my man. But I ended up going for Abyss Dweller, and Abyss Dweller was not the right thing. And this man's top decks were just phenomenal. So, but anyway, I ended up going 1-2 there. It is what it is. Nothing more can be said. Next game is Altergeist. So I always, like, no one likes Altergeist, guys. Like, the only people that play Altergeist, like, even people who play Altergeist don't like Altergeist. Except for my man Gus, who is at our locals. He, like, religiously loves the deck. So, 2-1 that game. Round 1, he goes first. Like, I didn't win a lot of dice rolls by any means. The one most disappointing game is the next game where I won a dice roll and ended up losing. Yeah, so Altergeist, he went first, set up his board. I end up going and just kind of, Brawn is super strong in the Altergeist matchup, especially equipped with Emblem. I actually will have that match put up for you guys to watch. And it's a really good match, I'm not gonna lie. It's back and forth gameplay. And Braun just puts in a lot of work there, banishing the back row that the Altergeist have. And then, like, there's a big mistake on his part, and you guys will hopefully see it in the video if I didn't have to edit it out or anything. I end up drawing for turn, and I draw, like, an effect veiler. So he asked me, he goes, like, Braun's a quick effect, right? And he's like, I was like, yeah, as long as I can discard a Plunder Patrol. He's like, how many cards in hand? 1 card in hand, and he scooped it up there. And that was just... lucky for me because I just had an effect veiler. Altergeist is, like I said, a pretty easy matchup for Plunder because they have all the different attributes that Plunder needs to tag into. Trains in round 1 I'd like to definitely mention is rough because we need an Earth ship bad and a Wind ship, I believe. So it was definitely kind of rough, but we made it. We made it. Altergeist, we won round 1. Round 2, I messed up. I had Titty Twisters and I had Red Reboot, and I totally spaced that the card Altergeist Monster Reborn, Call the Haunted Manifestation. There you go. That card reborns. Even if you Twin Twister, it brings back the monster, which of good, you know, Konami knows what they're doing when they do this stuff, guys. I hope. I really hope. They know what they're doing. So I end up Titty Twistering, but I don't Red Reboot, and I had Red Reboot in hand. Multi-Faker resolves. That's practically all that they wrote. Because after that horrible misplay, I just scoop it up. And then the next game, I end up going first, and I end up beating him there, just, you know, snowballing into more advantage, more control. It's just super problematic, and especially when you have a card such as List, which is able to stop the multi-faker from touching down. But I ended up hard drawing Red Reboot again, because Blackbeard draws, you know. So then when he decided to fire off a trap, I just Red Rebooted it, and that was all that she wrote. So, pretty good game there. We have round 4, which is Dragon Link, and I hate Dragon Link, guys. So... oh, I despise this. I won the dice roll. I went first. I put up 4 interruptions. Easy. List, Morik, shoot hand traps. He played through it. The easiest way, like no, it was not even a fight for him, and that's why this deck is such a problem, guys. It needs to go. It just has to go. Like, for the fact that I can play through 4, and I guess, like, to give a little bit more credit where credit's due, I made a horrible misplay. He ended on Boral Sword, and I ended up removing the Boral Sword, walking right into a Gamma when I could have kept the Boral Sword, made a Toad, and then got rid of the Boral Sword, swung for damage, and then had, like, a negate to stop the Toad and all that time. You know, I gotta had more, but it's just straight bonkers. So, went first, lost. So, game 2, I decided to go first again. Set up a semi-decent board of, like, 2, I think I had, like, 2 interruptions. And it was, you know, like, it was gonna, depends what I draw into off of my Blackbeard, all those type of things. And he opens just Chaos Space and Talents, Droplets, etc., and he just blows me out of the water. The deck, the guys, like, I've never, like, I don't think, maybe it's my own personal bias on this deck, but you don't, like, if they hit LP, Konami's an idiot, because LP won't do anything to the deck. You remove LP, the deck will still do its stuff. It's just, the deck is just ridiculous, and I think that Konami needs to answer this entire Rocket Dragon Link stuff hopefully soon, but can you guys tell I don't like the deck yet? Moving on, we have Orcus Rocket. So still, the curse continues. I still have to place Rockets somewhere along the line. So game 1, he gets out he doesn't even really do Orcus plays in a way, if that makes sense. He doesn't really do, he like sends some Orcus cards, but he doesn't like make Galatea, Dingur, so he just like Dragon Links and then ends up putting out the, what's it called? The Union Carrier, there you go. He puts out the Union Carrier, and the Union Carrier, I see that, and I know Buster Whelp's coming. I don't have any main deck out to the Union Carrier, so I just scoop it up. Game 2, I just open enough interruptions with Morik and Lys, just being able to banish and negate stuff, which is pretty good. Game 3, he ends up Buster locking me and making Dragoon, and this is another salty point I'm going to get to. Dragoon should not exist either. Verte or Dragoon, one of the two need to go. I don't care which, because they're both unfair to the game. Like, the simple fact is, like, you can stop an entire deck's line of playing, and then as long as they have 2 monsters to make Verte, they can practically win with 1 Dragoon. Card needs to go, and I actually compare it to Masterpiece, and wholeheartedly, guys, this card is even worse than Masterpiece. So, Konami, what are you doing? Why are you making cards like this? But anyway, I only saw Orcus cards in the graveyard, didn't see any Orcus cards get summoned, and game 2, I end up winning because Morik, Lys, and just like the snowball effect that Plunders have, just outpaced him. Anyway, game 3, like I said, he Whelp blocked me and made Dragoon. I was able to out the Whelp block because I happened to open double field spell and an equip spell and Redbeard. So I just made, he had to equip the Whelp to the, the Verte, so I ended up making my Redbeard 2000, whacked over, but then I could not out the Dragoon, and that's something that Plunder really struggles with. So Plunder does have a way to out Dragoon. It can just get bigger than Dragoon because of the ships and then the field spell and the spell and trap zone. But you got to get there, and since Dragoon is constantly being able to force you to activate something and negate something, it's just too strong. And not to mention that thing can pop twice per turn. I wholeheartedly, at the end of the day, like, not even trying to sound biased, I did not lose to Orcus. I didn't even lose to Rocket. I lost to Dragoon, and that's just so upsetting because of how powerful Dragoon is that you can just lose, like a deck can singularly lose to one card. So maybe I'm ranting, maybe I'm not. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, it was a fun event. I will always go back to it, even though I continually get clapped by certain singular cards like Super Poly, Dragoon, and Dragon Link. Outside everything else, I have a pretty good win record, to be honest with you. And even at our own locals, like if you guys are playing a small locals that's not really competitive, or like maybe the meta's like more small and more diverse, I do, like, you guys are blessed, because that's more fun. Because let me tell you, when you go and play against Dragon Link and you get hand looped while block, it's not really the most, it's not fun. I'm sure it's fun for the opponent because they're winning, but sitting there on the receiving end, it's not the best, especially when you actually interact with them like 5 times and they still are able to do it. It's a little much. But anyway, guys, thank you for the vlog. Remember, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like and a subscribe. And I'm sorry if I kind of ranted, but remember guys, facing giants here at TeamCOG, that's what we do. So this is Charles from TeamCOG, signing out.